Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think it proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debated warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited, mind sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night, join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts glean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts glean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Been a while, guys. How you guys doing? It is Wednesday, May 7th. We're back for another episode, another show, another conversation on the Spartan HQ network. Right? What? I got taken off guard. What was on the chat? Damn, David, you're going right for the throat tonight, killing Saturday night. Really? One got jokes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is TBN Tech Talk, aka aka Bearpaw. That's just my father name. Today is Wednesday, another episode of the Anime Unlock show. A big time classic that opened the door for many others right behind it. I know a lot of us in our teenage years or our teen years or our pre-teen years, when we saw it, we was like, yo, this is hot. I love this. It's a point whereby if you look at my background, I have to represent because, dude, I didn't even play the game. And I was rocking this particular mobile suit. I was loving it. So how's everybody doing? How Eric doing? What's going on, Mariana? How you been? Are we waiting for our co-host with a presentation? He's ready to figure out the king. We were talking on the phone for a while before the show started. I hope he's not running too late. I hope it PC that are freed up on him and he don't have no Wi-Fi and shit, but it's what it is. We do what we can about that topic. Out to everybody, let me know how your week was. And I'm hoping that the idiot in chief in the school. Anytime we political, I'm just pull out I see it. If you have an idiot running the show, then not much hope for anything. You gotta cross your finger and hope you don't burn your bridge. If you know what I mean. So how's everybody? How was your week? How's your home? How's your career? How whatever you put your hand on, make sure that thing works. I hope you're ready for this episode. This episode, well, we had this conversation about this particular franchise a couple of weeks back. We did a not a in-depth or an in-depth, but it was more a overall about the complete franchise of Mobile Suit Gundam. Even though they started back in the 70s, late 70s. But they made their recognition in the West, in America, North America, back in the early or mid 90s. When this particular franchise of the Mobile Suit Gundam came out, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, it was a big deal. That's the thing for sure. And I'm aware of that. But what people don't understand is that is how great with this show really was. Because when it first came in, I'm not sure what it's on Cartoon Network. I believe they broadcast this show. But it wasn't Cartoon Network. I know what it wasn't WPX 11, which is channel 11. It wasn't Fox 5. It was more so on a cable channel, so to speak. So my best bet was mostly on Cartoon Network. I forgot what show they had on the Cartoon Network. They introduced this anime. This anime was a showstopper because the 90s, if I remember correctly, the 90s was one that though era whereby a lot of anime were coming in hot. Some made it, some hang on, some shot up to the atmosphere, some sank. This one made it be clear that they wasn't going nowhere. And imagine we had Robotech, aka Marco, talk about that particular manga. slash anime based on mech. We mentioned Big O. We mentioned what else? No, we didn't mention Pot Labor. Pot Labor, another anime we will talk about another time. But Ectoflone, another one. I'm trying to think. What are the mecha that we talked about that was a big deal in the 90s? No, I'm not gonna mention Transformer. Transformer was not because of that anime mecha, but that's just the conversation. Um, I'm trying to remember what other anime that was talking to people Mobile Suit Gundam. Because Mobile Suit Gundam King of Authority. It was a big deal. It was a heavy franchise. But I'm not gonna lie, I was glad it came out because after that, we start getting more and more. Oh, yeah, Toonami. Thank you. Thank you. Huh? Hold up. Here's the joke. I need to figure this one out. Who logged into my account? This is my account right here. I hope my account's not hacked because if that's the case, then I'll have to change the password. This is my account on Twitch. True Son of Wakanda. So one of you to my account behind my back. So yeah, Gundam first came on Toonami at 4 p.m. You know that one. It was Toonami. Toonami was a sub-show on the Cartoon Network with all the action-packed shows that pop up there. We had Mobile Suit Gundam, we had Saturnian Power Supreme, we got Cowboy Bebop that showed up on that thing. We had Trigun that also part of that lineup as well. What was it? Bleach. No, not Bleach. Inuyasha. Inuyasha was also part of the lineup during the 90s. What else is there? Space Girl is part of Adult Swim, wasn't part of Toonami. Come on, guys. You guys who are watching Toonami back then on the Cartoon Network, what was the lineup that came along with Mobile Suit Gundam during that era in the 90s? Y'all put to know something about it. It can't just be me, because I know I'm a nerdy ass person. I'm a Canadian born, like that what TBN stand for. Yes, I'm a Nigerian guy who love anime hardcore. Shout out to all my African brothers and sisters out in the diaspora who love anime just like me. Oh, yo, we need to talk about that anime. I'm glad you mentioned that. As Quiet, that was another anime. That was a heavy hitter anime. I hate to say there was a lot of sick anime that a lot of us guys. Let me make a confession. I know some lady might be mad with me for saying this, but I really don't care. During the Tanami era, there was a lot of heavy hitter anime. I met a lot of guys who didn't want to admit they like anime to make excuses why they didn't show up to their date or left their girlfriend hanging. I'm just saying it. Hey, boss man, how you doing? I'm being honest with you guys. During the Toonami era, when all the heavy hitter anime were coming out, some of the cool guys who were undercover nerds know on that particular Saturday they weren't going to admit the anime, so they had to lie and say either at work or something came up or whatever, not to miss their show. So they stood up their girlfriend or the potential date for an anime. Yeah, I'm snitching. We're no longer in the 90s. We're in 2025. I don't care if you feel like, why are you telling us now? That was one of the excuses. That was one of the excuses. The other excuse my homeboy mentioned about Gears of War back in the Xbox versus PlayStation War, whereby when they were playing Gear of War, they make excuses for that game as well not to answer their phone. say what the anime first, then Guild Wars second. With another excuse why some guy didn't let their girl hanging because the girl wasn't into anime like that. I thought it strange. They call us weird for liking anime, and lately we found a fluctuation of black sisters. Yeah, I'm calling them out. Who all of a sudden joined the bandwagon. Well, back in the high school days, we get called all sort of names just because we want to watch anime. You watching that cartoon? Really? Really? You know what? Hold up. Let me bring my butt in the arm. Ghost of Sparta, come up here. We need to talk before we start going into this show because this is something I'm trying to. You know, I'm talking about all these.
This is Sparta!
And I'm snitching here. I am snitching here. I'm calling
Well,
out.
of course, you're going to start acting up when the boss is in house, right?
I'm snitching.
When the boss is here, you're gonna play innocent, right?
I'm not innocent. I'm snitching because I remember many guys who told me on the phone they want to answer the phone because they were watching Tsunami, and they gotta make up some.
Tsunami was interesting to me because it was an era of new anime, new cartoons, if you want to call it that. Because we didn't know what anime was back then. Let's be honest. Let's call it a duck is a duck. It quacks like a duck. It walks like a duck. It's a duck, most likely. Back then, we didn't know what anime was. It was new to us. So seeing that, and it was something unique for us. Am I making sense here, David?
You making sense. You making sense. Cause I know Eric say this right here, and I'm like, Eric. I don't think you understand the 90s. The 90s were brutal for anime lovers. It was brutal. Very, very. You're not doing this. Megalobox, Tetsumiya. No, Megalobox came in the 2000s. Tetsumiya was in the 90s.
They had the lineup was unique because Toonami was coming off a series of cartoons, hardcore cartoons at the moment, and into the anime. The first real anime, excuse me, was Gundam Wing. I'm very passionate about Gundam Wing because I love fucking Gundam Wing.
And here's the thing, Gundam Wing was so much of a heavy hitter. I know you gotta play the soundtrack for Mobile Suit Gundam 001, the Wing Gundam.
I don't want a copy strike, bro. Like I would have played that shit.
I know. And that's what I'm so mad about because this is a show we commenting on anime and we got to worry about all the copyright strike, copyright claim. We heard our boy MDR. He got almost completely shut down because the Pop Balloon lady had a management company who he did a screenshot and they copyright strike every single video that he do a commentary on. I'm like, what the hell? They weren't punishing him, but they copyright claim that you're not gonna make money off of these videos. And these videos were either 4 hours, 5. It was breaking down, chopping up the video, commentating, following the law. All of a sudden, copyright. I'm like,
so you know what? And I get that, but we got to follow the rules. We're not here to bash YouTube's rules, whatever. But let's take on the topic.
I'm not bashing YouTube. I'm just bashing the. You can't think about something great. This is one of the greatest.
And I get what you're saying, David. So Gundam Wing to me has a special place in my heart because it had a little of everything. Weird thing about it. It had military stuff that I love as fuck. Has suspense, it had action, and it has Transformers. Think about it. Yeah, Gundam is Wing Zero transformed to a bird, to a bird mode. Remember?
The plane mode. Yeah, but I won't call that transform.
Bird. They called the bird mode in the show. If you want to go back, you want to test me? I'll prove you fucking wrong.
I'm not arguing. It's a bird / plane mode. I know.
Yeah,
Japanese.
They call it bird mode. Yeah, they a plane mode. You might call it, is it Wing 1 001? It was called there. The Oz faction called it. Then later on, you got Wing Zero. That was a fucking kick-ass model.
But the thing about Wing Zero was the fastest mobile suit out there because when it transformed to the wing mode, we either call it bird or plane mode.
So here's a fun fact.
The speed mode it's like Mach 4, Mach 5.
So here's a fun fact about Zero and Togis. Togis and Zero are based off the same model. It's just two different type of it. So when they come on, take your time, Wally. So when it came on to that, all the other Gundams, 05, 01, 02, 03, 04, and 05 was based off the Wing series. The only one pilot, actually two pilots can only pilot that was, ready for it? Drum roll here. Do I have a drum roll here? Close enough.
Yeah.
It was Heero and
the pilot for Togis, right?
Yep. Because Togis was under the same thing. Then when Ampion came, they ran the same program for the OS system.
Ampion was a upgrade version of Torgi with a mix with Wing.
If you want to call it that.
But the thing is, Ampion was supposed to be the rival to Wing. Only problem is, Wing was still, how you want to call it, broken in a way. Because of the pilot. You know how people, throughout all the Mobile Suit series, the question was the Mobile Suit overpower or was the pilot? And sometimes the pilot brought out the best of that Mobile Suit to the point whereby it's uncontrollable. A good mention is Gundam Build Diver. So the anime whereby this another franchise of Mobile Suit Gundam whereby the pilot or the player, right? You got a simulator. Oh, excuse me. So this is your icon now? Really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I gotta show that a little bit up there.
Wow. So the person who don't have an icon is right now Ghost of Sparta. Okay, you want to do that right now.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Middle fingers up and loaded.
Okay, how you got that? Okay, flame sword. You got the armor. You got the spiky here. You got a cape on.
He's really examinizing the whole thing.
You got a goatee matching the hair. Okay. All right.
Might changes because
I see what's going on. Let's
get back on track for a second. So with the Togis, the original pilot was Heero Yuy. We all remember that. Then he gave it. They traded. I don't understand the trade on this one. They traded Mobile Suits. I think it's hilarious, actually, in a way.
Wait, who traded who?
Marquise.
Oh, you mean the pilot for the Togis?
Yeah, because they went at it. Heero was fighting him in the Togis, and Zach Marquise was fighting him in Wing Zero at the time. And then Zach Marquise throws the helmet at him. He goes, no, Heero throws the helmet. You better pilot the Togis. He goes, you're better pilot for that. And I'm a better pilot for Wing Zero. And that's where...
I think I forgot that episode what they did. I think it was the first or second.
Yeah, I'm not saying to the T, obviously, to the perfect, but that's pretty much it. But go ahead, guys. Take over.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my co-host. His Sparta name is Taylor Fireborn. He's showing off his logo.
I mean, you mean showing off me, right?
Because I think the three of us got our logo done. With you, me, and Angry Elf. Now, I was mad when we had a meeting with Angry Elf showing off me. I said, I need to show him my own, and I had mine. Mine was more like, it fit the name Bear Paw. So all you have to have Peter do his own icon. Make sure you have the Sparta paint on his face. It has a two sword. I don't think he would do that, would he? He wouldn't. Anyway, as you go into the show, overview titled Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. No, I'm really not Japanese now. I don't read Japanese, which I did. But it's Shin Kido Tenkai Gundam W. Whew. It has 49 episodes with 3-part OVA. Endless what? I'm telling you guys, if you haven't watched it, you better watch it.
You have no idea what you're missing.
Endless War was like straight kick ass.
Funny story about Endless Wars. The guy who designed the mobile suits in Endless Wars was originally supposed to design the Gundams in Wing, but they scrapped that. They went with a different designer.
And that's the thing about it, because if you look at the regular series, the 49 episode, look at Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, and look at Mobile Suit Gundam, the new one that came in Endless War. That was an upgrade.
I actually like the anime. And, I'll be honest with you, the anime they did, the drawings for the Endless Waltz, I think was a lot better, personally.
But the thing is, the quality was so great at that time. People wasn't sure if they want to remaster it again. It was that good.
Here's my thing with the models in Endless Waltz, you want to call it that? They would probably lose a lot of money because they didn't have a lot of sell out. Like, okay, Wing Zero, for example, all right, or Wing One, or wherever, Wing Gundam that transformed to bird mode. The original model never had a transformation mode in it, so that's where they would lose money. And yes, what I did say Transformers. The reason I said Transformers, there's a big reason behind it. Anything that transforms, kids go fuck 8 goddamn shit for it.
And you're right about it, because that's the era at that time when it came out. But later on, here's the thing though. Later on, when the Mobile Suit Gundam Gunpla series was making so much money, Mobile Suit Gundam 001 Wing became one of the most customized model, because one did a customized version based on Italy look of things, and it came on the anime whereby they show whereby, you know, like Mobile Suit Gundam Wing had both the wing on both of the back, on both left and right. The custom version had them 2 on the side, like it's a bullfighter. So people have been customizing when they buy the Gunpla and give their own look and style and take on how they think Mobile Suit Gundam Wing is supposed to look. That is 001. The franchise was like, oh, we got a moneymaker right here. The Mobile Suit Gundam Wing not only opened the door for many Mobile Suit Gundam franchise to come into the door, it became a mainstay. It was like the best of the best at that time. And it was one that reigned supreme for a good decade and a half. It came out in the air in April 7, 1995, all the way to March 29, 1996. It was produced by Sunrise. Sunrise had the IP license for all the Mobile Suit Gundam. Directed by Masashi Ikeda, which is a well-known name. He's known for a lot of work in the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. Written by Kazuyuki Sumizawa. Then when Jake Kakashi should pop up and announce, we're like, yo, this is my type of show. Genre is mecha, military, sci-fi, and drama. But there was way more drama than sci-fi. The drama was endless. Am I wrong, Wally?
Say that one more time.
I say the drama in this series was way too much. Psychological. Let's be real though, because if you're going to this, you'd be surprised. It was, how would I put this? Those 5 boys represent 5 entities. Let me go back. I want people to think about it. Let me go back. These 5 boys represent 5 entities, 5 regions. I wonder if someone can pick up on that. That was crazy about it, that. What are the regions these boys represent? I want you to think people can really pick up on that. If you're not ready, I'll let you know. The Asian boy was Asia. The guy right here was Italy. He was more on the German side. This guy was more the Middle East mixed with Africa. And he was more like Heero, who was mixed with Japanese or between Japanese and Korean. The Asian boy on the top was more Chinese because he's a Chinese martial art. So you can tell it was like a real militia children's soldier. The series set on the after colony AC timeline, specifically in the year of AC 195. Humanity had colonized space, creating colony at the Lagrange point around Earth. However, power remained concentrated on Earth under the Earth's United Earth Sphere Alliance, maintain control throughout through its military arm, OG, Organization of the Zodiac, backed by one fella. You know when I see this thing, one fella Foundation?
The Rockefeller Foundation.
There you go. There you go.
You know what's so funny? In the midst of me putting this in, it was constantly trying to write it that way. Literally. It was constantly trying to write it that way.
Imagine that. That's what he was going through. Wait up. It's spelled corrected, so that's not one for it's Rockefeller. Don't know any one fellow. Look at me know here it's Rockefeller. Imagine that. And this ain't bound to be to oppress a straight colony and spark a convert rebellion. But no offense, this you got to watch this franchise. See how dramatic and how impactful. It was exposing a lot of things that were going on during that time in the 90s in the global society that people were not paying attention to or aware of. And remember we talked about how anime is based on history, reality, and facts, right? I'm sure when Ghost Power was watching it, and he was like going banana on mess. That he the storyline, it kind of made him think like.
You know, I was actually going bananas. I was just, and that's when I first got my first computer or my second. I think it was it was my first computer actually, and internet was new. I was one of the few kids who had high speed internet that everybody has now. You know, cable internet back then.
Mhm.
It was like, and remember you had a little box like this big. I don't know if you remember that. I was like literally ding, ding, and trying to figure things out. Yes, I used to headbutt my keyboard. If you were curious, but I was trying to find any information. And back then in the American web, it wasn't a lot out there. And a few things. It was, and when then I remember going to FYE picking up a Mobile Suit Gundam movie. And it felt weird and old to me. And I didn't understand why.
During that time, Chinatown, Lower Manhattan was booming because of this. Remember, everyone who lived in New York City back in the 90s, there's a place in Lower Manhattan near the Manhattan Bridge, whereby they were selling all type of stuff that coming straight from Japan. Anime, movie, and people wanted to get the original uncut version because they heard about how the American production, they were almost like cutting some thing down here and there, here and there, here and there. That's how I found out they had the unfiltered version of Dragon Ball Z in Chinatown. But they were actually cursing, they were blood, and I was like, oh, this is a good drag. I was like, excuse me. Chinatown was making mad money because that was a hotspot. You were aware of Mobile Suit Gundam was a big
Hotspot was an understatement, bro. It was like freaking, it was on fire back then.
Yo, all the cool nerdy black boy, you would see them pop up on the weekend when school's out. They trying to save the money, buy some Kung Fu DVD or just some Japanese animated DVD. And some of the movie that we watched from there, from Chinatown, later pop up in the movie theater a couple of years later. Ironically. When we saw in the movie theater, some of us not really too thrilled about it. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? Water it down, cut some scenes here and there. Got to catch on of it. But before that, we didn't catch on anything. Then after the 90s, the internet got to snitch. Or they're gonna cut this scene out there because I mean you could be sure that this thing was a little bit too gory, too bloody, too equality. Or they're gonna move this out, they're gonna move this out, they're gonna move that out. It was like that. It was a thing. But for Mobile Suit Gundam, we were wondering what other anime or cartoon is out there we don't even know about. That's why Chinatown was booming. People trying to get the heads up before they come on TV. When you watch Mobile Suit Gundam Wing and watch the whole 49 episode, it could have a new addiction. At first, you could call it cartoon until you hang around Chinese boys or Japanese boys. they will tell you do not call it cartoon. Japanese do not do cartoon, they do anime. The American folks do cartoon. I wonder if Peter went through the same method I went through. You call the anime cartoon in front of them, they'll give it that stoic eye like, nigga, please correct yourself. We do not do cartoon. We do anime. Well, you go to the thing that I'm going through, Peter? Where you get corrected several times over?
Pretty much.
Yo.
Because back then I was such a new fan. You know what I'm saying? And I used to play Pokemon cards at Toys R Us. Yes, I goddamn old. And I was in the league and everything. Yes, I was that dorky. And one of the kids I used to play Pokemon cards with, he actually was humongous, and I'm saying humongous with capital letters, Gundam fan. He knew about Mobile Suit Gundam. He knew 86. He knew about MS-Team before it was aired. He knew the schematics behind every mobile suit, and like, oh, where the weapons were equipped, how it ran. He knew everything. It was released already in Japan.
I was shocked.
He knew about it.
And I was shocked when you hear all the information and you see it come out after, like, how do you know? I'm like, Japan. Like, oh, give me the hook. Let me put it like this, though. It was a cool thing to know someone from Japan who came out here and bring stuff from Japan over here. So you could get your hookup. Because during the time, I don't think people noticed this. During the era of the PlayStation 2 versus Sega, yes, we had American game being made on PlayStation 2, but there was a lot more Japanese game that could pass American library. And you need to put in the decoder to allow you to play it. So you could go to Japan, the Chinatown in Lower Manhattan, try and get the hookups. So that time, if you're close friend to a Japanese dude, and he hook you up nice, it was a wrap. That's how good it was. So believe me, Mobile Suit Gundam was with an eye opener. Main plot summary, part 1, Operation Meteor. 5 scientists and 5 young pilots from different space colonies. Even though they're space colonies, but they're different ethnic groups. To Earth in secret mission called Operation Meteor. Each pilot controlled a Gundam, an advanced mobile suit made of Gundanium alloy. The fact they call it Gundanium, I was like, hold up. I know it's not aluminum. I know it's not steel. It's a new metal property that it had to be super strong or flexible. The fact they call it Gundanium, I'm like, this is something that surpassed Tony Stark formula. If I'm wrong. Am I wrong, Wally?
I can't say yes, I can't say no.
And give me a reason why.
Well, because you got to think about it. The Gundam suit. I mean, you want to talk about the alloy that makes it? That's one thing, but it's like, again, I mean, is Gundanium even real?
The term Gundanium, I was like, okay, hold on. So look at the NIUM. Already you think aluminum is part of it. But what other metal property you mix it? Because I know it's more than just steel. What else? Titanium? What else? Now, anyone who's a chemistry nerd, is it possible to make 3 or 4 different metal properties into one to build a stronger cut of steel or metal that's stronger than titanium, stronger than steel, stronger than aluminum combined? Like, seriously.
And then, well, here's another part I also hit on this is, do they ever speak of where they get the Gundanium? Because now, if you know if you understand the biops of the location, that will tell you where that resource. That tells you a good combination of what the resource is. So that's why I don't really say it to the degree of if it's even greater, higher, or greater, lesser, or in the middle. It's like it's pick and choose.
I get what you're saying, though. I really get what you're saying. Because think about it this way. When I think of Gundam as being a nerdy approach, I said first and foremost, there would be a military secret. Two, there gotta be something they were testing in secret, like a strongest combination of metal that surpassed Japanese steel. Because no Japanese steel, they were mixing with steel with what it was sand, and how many times they had to fold it to get that toughness. So when you get a Gundam, you go into the extreme of making a new property of metal that not only strong but durable, it could be light also. So who knows how many years they tried everything before they got Gundam, and how much did they make? Be able to make a mobile suit Gundam? That's a lot of metal. Actually, that's the case. Their mission: attack Oz and fight for the colony freedom. The five pilot, even the name will let you know something enough. Heero Yuy, stoic, mission focused, pilot of the Gundam Wing. He's not the stoic. He's too focused, too emotionless, quick to pull a gun out. If you want him as a bodyguard, I feel sorry for the victim. He got nothing to hesitate to put a gun between your eye. We're like, you will pop it. Duo Maxwell, the Joker with a dark past, part of the death site now. Out of all the five, Duo Maxwell's my favorite. Because the deck side was more like the Green Reaper Mobile Suit Gundam. Imagine how many people he fought with, he get up nightmares. Thor Barton, dude from Italy, silent but mysterious, pilot heavy on. It was a Mobile Suit Gundam that had nothing but guns, Gatling guns, literally. But they don't know assault rifle. I'm talking about Gatling gun. You can slice through it like a butter. With how many rounds? Quatriel Rabera winner. I wonder how many. What name are they commonly using? Because one sounded like he was from the Middle East. Another one sounded like he been from another race. Kind, empathetic, pilot Sandrock. That was a Mobile Suit Gundam that had that sheath-like sword. But that sword was no joke though. You got Shang Wufei, Justice Obsessed, part of the Shilong Gundam. There was actually 3 versions that he piloted throughout the series. But his Gundam was very, very unique. What you have to picture for these, that would be good to show them. Or, yeah, you tell me I can look them up. Yes. I know we're talking about the Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. I want to let people know what it look like. Hold on a second. Let me open the browser. Give me, guys. If you have it up already before me, let me know, Wally.
Talking about the mobile suit.
Yeah, I'm trying to get an image so people can see what I'm talking about. But the mobile suit was heavy in detail. And it was not normal, to be honest with you. The only one that was more like a tank out of the 5 was Death Cycle. Let me get an image. Yeah. Got the image. Big view of it. Let me share the screen. Second. Here, what I'm referring to. When you see in the front here, guys, it was Mobile Suit Gundam 001, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Deck sight is right here on the right, which is sight. It was more like a Green Reaper. It is heavy gun at the other end. Sandrock is right here on the left of the wing gun. Yeah, the other end is Sherlock. But he was probably 3 different versions of that. Unlike this guy, he had like 2 different versions. Same with him over here. You know, almost everybody had 2 different versions, but the Sherlock had like 3. Kind of like selfish. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Let me stop share this one. Wadi, you had your picture back up? Sorry to knock you down by accident. Okay, let me bring it back up. So when I mentioned those Gundams, you can tell the difference. Because they had great strong point and some weak point. Heavy arm weakness, if they run out of bullets, it be almost become useless.
He was useless without ammo. Let's be honest. Yeah, he had a little butter knife coming in his arm. He had Poppy's machine gun. He had a little butter knife like Nemo.
I prefer Death Sight. Death Sight was like a tank because that was the boogeyman Mobile Suit Gundam. It had a cloak-like wing that it covered itself like out of space. It can blend because no space they barely in the light. So
Yeah, he had a cloaking device. Remember that?
I know. But it was like a boogeyman. It would come out of nowhere just like that's the Green Reaper. And he was bragging, I'm the Green Reaper. I'm like, dude, he's such a sick joke. He was sick with it, but he was fishy with it. You see, plot number 2, all rise. All led by Truett Render. Take the coup d'etat, copy that line from within. They claim to bring peace and order, but their method are equally oppressive. When you see the coup only happen mostly in Africa more than any other. This anime was more like niche on that continent. I went to more coup than anywhere. It was actually Africa. That was funny. There was no space colony in real time, but you felt like you're in a space colony when you look at it. So that right there, the funny thing about this anime, it was broadcasted and telling a story that people were not paying attention to. What really happened. So when they had that coup and there was a takeover, the takeover was not even worth it to begin with. It was that bad. I was watching that anime and I was trying to figure out like, what country are you referring to at the time? Not even think about it was Africa. But how often you hear of a coup taking place in Europe? They say Russia, yeah, but Russia's not like all the way to Europe, so you can't put it that way. But Africa, what a right. And one new alliance or one new coup take over another coup. Do you think get better? Nobody knows. That's how the people feel, but this anime was iconic for this reason. We'll talk. What about you, Molly? What do you have your review concerning this so far? Or what your input would give?
So
I would talk my head off because of the anime.
I mean, yeah, so for Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, well, one thing's for sure. I will say this. I wouldn't call it a transformer. That's one thing for sure.
Uh-oh.
No, because when we talk about transformers, understand the definition of, well, understand just the show itself. You can't compare Transformer and Gundam. One, because Gundam is just that, a Gundam. A Transformer is actually a machine going, well, let me say this, a vehicle per se going into the actual person. So it's just not the same. I mean, literally, like Gundam Wing's transformation was just that, an ascension. I wouldn't call it.
So okay, if you don't call it transformation, how do you call it Robotech when they transform too?
Which one?
Robotech, they transform too.
AKA Marcos.
Here's the thing, though. I haven't seen Robotech.
How you not see Robotech?
You need to watch it.
How old is
Robotech is-
Robotech?
Very old.
Yeah, Robotech is literally one of the best animes out there.
And here's one about Robotech.
This person literally asked me how I haven't seen Robotech, and yet 9 times out of 10 is born before my time.
I know a lot of people.
I watch Robotech. You know, it's born before my time. But here's the problem. Robotech was the American name for Marcos. And it was funny about it. We talked about it before how the name Robotech didn't go too further, but Marcos went further than Robotech. Kind of like.
All right,
There was a lot of franchise that had American name that did well here in the US. I remember last night we were looking into the thing called production company called Academy Production. Academy Production was responsible for creating Bull Lion and Voltron. Or also an anime we want to talk about later on down the line called Gundam, aka Noah. Interesting. I wonder if that company still exists. It's a collectible. You know what the collectible costs online? Over $800.
So real quick, so you asking, well, how is that different for Robotech? Because Robotech is considered a mech. But the thing is, even with Robotech, let's get one thing. Who pilots a Transformer? Nobody. Who? Robotech is, okay, yes, it's a transforming mech. Congratulations. Who still pilots it? A human? I mean, it don't make no difference.
You do have a
Robotech is
valid
the
argument.
perfect middle in the Robotech is a perfect middle in the nesting pool of what is a Transformer and what is a Gundam in between. But overall, though, again, a Gundam is what it is.
Well,
There is no more than what it is.
Well, here's the thing, though. In Robotech, there's only one mode, the plane mode. There was no other mode beside that.
Well,
So the only variation, but the thing, I think the problem with the American public, Transformer was showing different variations, different options. You have a plane mode, you got a helicopter, you got a submarine mode, you got a train mode, you got a car mode, you got an SUV mode, you got a truck mode, you have all kind of mode, you got a tank mode, a whole lot of any vehicle you can think of, which is great. But based on the storyline of Robotech, you talk about ultra-light fighter plane or jet, whatever you want to call it, a spaceship that transform from plane mode to mech mode, whereby it's more functional, whereby in case of war, like get you that it's super heavy ass gun and you can maneuver better. That's what the ship would be made. Mobile Gundam emphasized on that even more than ever. Only a very few Gundam transform in the Mobile Suit franchise. If you were to be clear, the Mobile Suit Gundam Wing was the first of its kind that was doing that. Then you have Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, if I remember correctly. There's a few Gundam in that series that do transform in act as well.
There are actually a good amount of Gundams that transform. Gundam, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Zeta, that's one of them. There, whoever's there's you just posted that. And Zeta is one of them.
Gundam Zeta and WG Zeta. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, both of them do it. Seed's a good one, like you said. Trying to think. Double 83 is another one.
Another one from Mobile Suit Gundam 00. The Super Soldier Gundam. You have a plane mode that transform.
Yeah, I don't remember that one for some reason.
But
there are a lot of them that do transform.
They did a lot, but they got a good number. But all based on the variation. Okay, POV, Zeta Gundam Wing, Gundam Transform, and ram their enemy into death. God damn, you gotta use that word, ram them. Ram.
Pause, hard pause.
But they can do it at a point on that. Only very few, but they're more. All these other Gundams that transform, they have one common mode with a plane mode. Mobile Suit Gundam 00. The guy who was a super soldier who was experimented on, his mode was more of a plane mode. Because I always say when any gun that transforms to the plane, their speed picked up tremendously. It's like they're going Mach 4 to Mach 5. How to keep up with them. That's what the reason behind it, because aerodynamic. If your mobile suit gun can transfer to on like a jet fighter, whereby they got less drag, speed, and break sound barrier, whereby you want to come at you, it's kind of hard. That's when they had on that mode in Mobile Suit Gundam 00, trans down, Mach 5 without the trans down. You apply trans down, you go into them like Mach 8.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. You know, Double O had a Transformer 2 in there.
Yeah, but that only one, but it used like the speed to the extreme. And that speed was ridiculous because it was where it was going. It was like, even I myself, the amount of G-force you had to go through, you got to be addicted to it. Going Mach 4, Mach 5, amount of gravitational pull on your body, if you're not conditioned for that type of pull, you blacking out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, didn't they do that? Blacking out in Unicorn, Gundam Unicorn.
14, 15.
Oh, Gunning Unicorn, that ball on the cycle fight. The black and I have to do the cycle the overuse. Remember, talk about how in Mobile Suit Gundam they're the thing called new type.
7, 8, 9.
These are like pilots who are considered to be the evolution of humanity, right? And they can see things due to quantum physics or sense things for what it is. So when you utilize that particular feature of the new type, which is the quantum physics of the reality of things, put the machine in the body, it causes the blackout.
So yeah, there's about 34 so Gundams that can ascend.
Damn. So you can't do all that
Well, Wally, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Say that again.
There's about 34 that can ascend.
Okay. So
He's
did a good amount in
good.
there.
He's really good on that. And I'm going to make sure that they take care, start to put them aside, actual kind of view of war. Gundam Power began to question them. I hate when this happens. You're on a mission, you put to save people, in order to you feel like you're being contradicted. And you put yourself in a predicament. Am I doing the right thing or am I doing the wrong thing? I'm on the right side, I'm on the wrong side. But you're a private militia. Their job is to kill and get paid. You're a child soldier on top of that. We believe all these pilots here were under the age of 16. When you were 16, what were you doing at that time? So it's a Spartan. I always wanted people into the girl dressing room anymore. At 16.
Listen, I'm not teething palm like you were.
I wasn't. I was a nerd. I was always
So
by
let's
myself.
get on topic. Let's keep going with this.
I didn't play around. Why are you, Wally? 16. What do you think you be at that time? You would have been a child.
Exactly where I was. I was in prison.
Because when I was watching this anime and I found out that age was all under the age of 16, I was like, what up?
Bro, when I was at that time that came out, I was in New York. I was watching this in my fucking bedroom every single day after school.
Well, but if they did, the age threw me off. I'm like, wait a minute. Who will raise kids to be private military to just get into a
I think actually, I was a lot younger than 16 when that came out, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll be honest with you, also Gundam Wing got me into the gunplay really hard too back then.
It was hard. It was hard body. But I'll bet you this though, anyone who would have known it as me, you know, you were questioning like, would it be possible to let kids fight war for adults? Like,
You know, it's funny. Every anime, excuse me, every Gundam anime that's come out is always a kid. Something's going with a kid, and he fights. Fights a war. And one thing that also throws me. I don't understand why they keep doing this over and over. They don't need to change the stories when they open a new series. Is they always start the same way. This kid is running from something. He gets in a mobile suit by accident. And all of a sudden, he knows how to, pilot a mobile suit. He never walked in. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
yeah, but here's the thing: on the Gundam side, they were mostly male boys that were part of the Gundam. They didn't
I'm not
just
disagreeing
girls.
with that. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying
But
with that.
in
What
other
I'm saying-
but in other anime, they tried to put more girls. But they did that on purpose to balance out the Gundam fan. The Gundam franchise mostly boys, pilot Gundam, young boys, not young men, young boys. So there was a lot of other anime they start to have girl piloting mobile suits or girl being part of some kind of militia group. Not boys.
double 80.
There you go.
That was supposed to be the new model of Gundam, and Alex, the code name, she was a woman pilot. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But my point I'm trying to get to is, you guys watch a bunch of Gundam. I mean, mobile Gundam. Yeah, you guys watch most, right? You right, Wally? What is one thing they always fucking a young boy who has a really bad haircut runs towards the Gundam, gets in and goes, I need to save my friends. Let's go. I'm like, you don't even know how to tie your fucking shoes, kid, and you're piloting a mobile suit. But with Wing, this is what I liked about. They don't show that at all. They show Gundam Wing literally coming to Earth, attack another mobile suit, but he's already trained how to use that. He didn't jump in and go, okay, guys, let's go. That makes more sense to me.
But the thing is, Hero was not only too stoic, he was too organized. He was too ahead of the game. It's like he know what to do,
He had
when
no
to do it,
heart.
and how. And think about not that he had no heart. He
was
a
cold, bro.
cold-blooded.
The beginning of the series, he was very cold. He would kill and destroy whoever he needed to. Think about it.
I'm saying he would not. He the type of dude who doesn't hesitate.
Wait, you're talking about the main character?
Yes.
Yeah, Hero.
You don't think so, Wally? Please, I'm here.
He's cold?
Yeah,
Come
he's
on.
cold like an ice man.
Wally.
With no heart.
Wally, of all
No.
the five,
You disagree? I mean, I want to hear. I want to hear his.
Let me put Wally in the situation. Let Wally go there, meet those five players, trying to crack a joke. We probably would not even laugh at a joke. Of all the five pilots, who do you know is not going to laugh at your joke at all? They're going to look at you like a zombie. We all know it will be Hero, because Hero was that one person. You want to hear me have a sense of humor. He's always target achieved, ready to terminate. I'm like, dude, come. Even the dude who pounded the deck cycle, he joke around sometimes. But like, come on, yo, can you lighten up? He will look at me like, lighten up for what? I'm like, God damn. Guys from my high school was saying that, who do you think in any Mobile Suit Gundam will never get laid? Guess what they mentioned? Hero. They were joking around. If any anime character in the Mobile Suit Gundam, will never get laid at all. Who would I be? Everybody say Hero. And then other character may be worse than him, but he's the more obvious.
So, just to touch on what you was asking me earlier, because you said, "Fellas, you define them as how again?"
Very cold-hearted.
Right. Well, what sensibility do you believe that he's cold-hearted?
When beginning of the series, at least the first half, I would say He had learned no hurt. He didn't know even himself. He literally tried to commit suicide, self-destructing his own mobile suit.
For what purpose?
He had an order. He didn't care. He would take the order and just execute it.
You'll take the order and execute it. Okay.
No matter what. He didn't care who got involved. Kids or not kids, whatever. He was very cold-hearted in the beginning of the series, bro.
I mean, from that, I mean that's one. That's only one part. So that's what I'm saying. Like, one part doesn't overly define the person.
No, give
I'm
it,
not
give it your own
disagreeing
point
that.
of view.
I'm not disagreeing one bit about that. But I'm saying in the beginning of the series, when we first introduced Heero Yuy, he was very cold-hearted.
Well, pick a point of view why you think different, because we hear from your view.
No, that's why I'm trying to understand what point he's just aiming for.
No, when you put out of the firepower, Heero Yuy was the only one whereby it's almost like he have a robotic personality.
I wouldn't say robotic. I just say he's just emotionless.
And that's cold-hearted, too.
No. Let's get one thing. Whoa. Let's get one thing clear. If I told you today there's someone that you end up dealing with that you somewhat had a relationship with the person, with whatever it means, right? And eventually it got sour, but you have to deal with this person, and you just cut off. Like, there's nothing this person says that make you feel any type of way. You just shrug your shoulders, like, I'm done. Like, there is nothing there. I don't think so. That just because you're emotionless doesn't make you cold or, unkindly. It just means that you're just not. You're just not. How do I want to say this? You're not a byproduct of. You're just not a byproduct of just giving anything. Because I think, understand one thing, right? Emotions always got to deal with something you're giving eventually. Like, there's a give of that. And that's neither amongst anger or neither amongst joy. So eventually when you cut that off completely, neither of his joy or anger is like, well, you're just there. So in a sense of what David said, he's like more robotic-like. Yeah, he's more robotic-like because a robot does not have any sensible feelings whatsoever. It is just a tool. And in this case, like you said, these guys were 16 piling Gundam suits being military. This is what you say for grown-ass men, quote unquote. So the fact that Heero is sitting there saying to himself, like, this is my life. This is how far it may go. Oh well. And then
And then I was asking that question: if you were 16, what seeing that across from you, did what they gotta do for a living?
well, yeah, but
What do you think you be doing?
yeah, but even then, you also got to think about it too. Just because in the first episode, yeah, it may seem like he was definitely cold-hearted, but you also got to think to yourself as well. There's no backstory on Heero like that to that degree. We don't know what he lost. We don't know what he lost, what he had before this, everything else. So let's be honest. I could sit here and see a person say, "Hey, you know what? This guy had something, and now he lost something, and he just cut himself from life." You got another character in here that's also saying, "Hey, I'm a jokester, but you know what? But I also tuck in a lot of things deep away." Oh, you got another person that's mysterious and don't say nothing too much, but he's silent and quiet. Why? Again, you don't know what these people lost before then. We just come in and we just find them, and they're like, "Hey, we just know that they pilot Gundam suits. They're warriors. They go out there to handle business, and then they call it a damn day."
And one of them is the Prince of Royalty, which is crazy.
Well,
Oh,
Imagine
Catch
that.
you mean?
Good. Yeah, the one who part of
And
Sandrock.
people said I had this conversation with the Catchers, what was way oversensitive too.
The total opposite of
Exactly.
Heero. That was crazy. Because Kanto's like the only, like, he was the voice of reason for Heero. Every time Heero about to go down that dark road, Kanto was like, "Come on, Heero." He was looking at him like, "Nigga,
David.
I'm not in the mood. Sorry. I'm sorry, but that was his mindset." Maybe he's from Japan. They do not say that when they say something else, but every time I watch that anime, I'm like, Even the girl who was trying to convince him to change, he even threatened her, put the gun on her forehead. I was like, oh, hold up. The girl like you. You put a gun to her forehead. Like, no chill? Seriously? No. We thinking what you were doing. He was more like, now, take it to our community, Peter. You from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
What would they call that?
Part. Which part?
Huh? The part when Heero have an issue with a girl who trying to challenge his personality and make it feel like he need a condom and he did take out a gun for like okay.
So
Well,
when that aired,
you-
hang on a second.
you're
Before
16.
where it goes, when that aired, that you know, being not interested in somebody wasn't a thing. Think about it. If a girl was into you, you know, you went after her. Simple as that. I digress.
He was the complete opposite. This guy was more like, I don't like you. I don't need you. I don't want to hear you. 16, like, you heard of crush? Crush is not in my dictionary. No, hot-footed? Hot-footed not in my dictionary. He worked than Marcus. He do a better job than Marcus.
If he curses you out, you deserve it.
Hey, I'm just saying. If you want a guy who got no emotion, got time for no woman, he will with the guy. Am I wrong, Wally?
I mean, pretty
No,
much.
be real. You 16. And you know a guy like that. And you watching him, you right next to him, you're like, you don't want to say anything because if he can put a gun to a girl who really likes him, well, you a guy who's just a friend to him. I was thinking that as a kid, I was like, of every Gundam I've watched, he's the only scary character I have.
Which one? Hero?
Yes. Of all the Mobile Suit Gundam character, besides that one from Mobile Suit 00, no, not Mobile 00, Iron Maiden was worse than him. The guy who powered the Iron Man Barbaros,
Okay,
he more like a reincarnation of Hero, but worse.
absolutely.
Because when I saw that character first came to my mind was Hero. Hero got to be this guy's father. Real talk.
Isn't that two
I don't
different
know who-
universes, David?
That's what I was thinking.
It is different universes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
It's different universes, but the way they had that character personality trait, this guy was way too. I thought he would call her until they introduced that character. Or Iron Maiden. I was like, hold up. Is this your son, Hero? You know, the different generation, different universe. But this guy was more like, we squat him. We don't got time to talk. There's no etiquette. There's no honor. Kill or be killed. I'm like, God damn. You cry for him, he'll look at you like, what are you crying for? You ain't got time for tears. And he was the coldest character in the whole entire Mobile Suit franchise. I thought he would be the coldest. He would took it up here. That dude just took it and shot to the moon. There's a guy whereby you had that surgery on your back and put that implant that connected to the Mobile Suit Gundam, and you would unlock the limiter that would mess with your brain to the point whereby you almost lost your leg. You couldn't feel your legs no more after you disconnect. You barely see your arms. You barely see out of one eye, but when you plug yourself back to the mobile, you got everything needed. Like, this guy didn't even kick you. You got a young girl who like you. You know the girl likes him. He just looked at her like, okay, you're wasting your time. So when we see these type of franchise that always put teenage soldier, I was always thinking, why do you think that philosophy choose stay? Because let's be real, anime wise, what really in scientific term that you think a young teenager will do better pilot a mech of that caliber compared to an adult male? What is the limitation? What is the advantage behind that? Tell me. Hmm? Goes to follow
Say what you
Wally.
want,
What's the
Sean?
question again?
What your view about throughout the whole Mobile Suit Gundam franchise, especially Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, that they need a child piloted, highly advanced mech? What's the first take on it? What do you think? Like, are you thinking that a young child has something that adult don't have? I'm trying to see the rationale behind it. But there was later on other Mobile Suit Gundam franchise that have adult pilot. It worked. But for some apparent reason, it seemed like a child can unlock something that an adult cannot. Like, what is it?
I
Well,
think it is because it's because again I'm talking about my ass a little bit. Maybe they're trying to gravitate to a certain genre. Maybe I'm not sure, but anime it has every logic out there is the opposite. You think?
Because I would question that because that was like a theme. Because did Mobile Suit Gundam Wing came in to the US? Any mecha anime is really an adult. It's mostly a teenager, more so than anything else. Now, what the memo? It was going heavy. We cannot deny that. I love this franchise, but this franchise created a standard for future mecha anime that they cannot walk away from. You know, they tried.
Oh, this is one of the biggest animes, bro. Between Dragon Ball and this, I think this is bigger than
They
Pokemon too.
want the biggest. They want to be bigger, but it set a standard. Every other mecha anime be after Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, even though it's not Mobile Suit Gundam franchise, was always catered to a teenager or a young boy piloting in a mecha. And I was like, I was trying to go into the side of it. Is this something psychological about a teenager that can I tap into that adult can I tap into because it's always that theory about when you're a teen, you're close to that third wall that you can tap into compared to an adult who's a brilliant. This is the nerd. This is why I love anime. I'm a nerd. Nerd anime is always messing around the realm of science, psychology, and math and magic and history and so on and so forth. But as you get when you start to watch more and more anime, you start to catch on. They're trying to play some theory out there. See you can think about it. That's what the coolest thing about Mobile Suit Gundam. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing hits so many topics at
Absolutely.
the same time.
well,
Unless you a doofus, you just like the explosion and the firework, then you're not gonna pay attention to the storyline. I pay attention to the storyline. It was so many layers on top of each other. Like
Because every character had a backstory and why were they were doing fighting it and why were they doing this? Why were they doing that?
what's your point, Wally? Because I know you're the lawyer here. I'm just a nerd. What legal aspect you this anime that got you like
I mean, for me personally, as far as like putting the more logical sense of why teens were implied into the idea of soldiers more than the adults, well, let's look at it from this point of view, right? Let's think about the cockpit. Was the cockpit valid enough to say an adult person can be in it versus a kid of their size? You can think about that from one point. Another point, honestly, and this is something that I have to sort of ponder, but personally, I personally believe if you really look at every character and then the mobile suit that they piloted, it's a perfect representation of who they are. So it's like, again, each Gundam had a representation of each person. For instance, the Joker, right? The character that's the Joker, right? He had the depth side. Well, notice one thing, right? He was a jokester, and yet, but deep down inside, he has a lot of things hide. In a lot of cases, you know, tucking things away like that, you're sort of trying to keep things dead. In reality, you're not. Right? So it's like, okay, then now you put that two together. So it's like polar ideologies. Now, granted, again, could we ultimately say in most cases when you think about some of these guys, when you think about some of these young kids, and then you think about some adults, could you just get the same thing? Sure, yeah. Here's another thing, right? Again, anime. Why was this not built for adults more so, like on adult visuals versus just kids? Honestly, again, you have to think about the climate of the world, because again, this is what understand
your
this.
relationship with
When people say anime is ahead of its time, understand it's truly ahead of its time. Because what do not do as people here in America? We don't teach our kids to be adults. And that's the hard truth about that. We like to babysit. At least this is my interpretation. That's the honest truth.
You hit it on the neck. You hit on the nerve right now.
Credit when he's due.
I am. He hit it on the nail. He hit it on the nerve at the same time. He calling it
That's
out.
the honest truth. I mean, you know, it's funny. I saw the clip the other day, right? And this clip was like a brother said this, right? He said, young kids should be able to challenge their parents. And he said this. He said, here's one reason why. He said, we're supposed to be raising our kids to believe, to stand for themselves, to believe in themselves, to have this je ne sais quoi about themselves. But yet, the moment you give them that, and then they realize, wait a minute, why should I do this? It's the same thing. For instance, everybody hates Chris. When Chris was told to clean the dishes, and he told his mother no, and he was like, "What?" Like, yeah, no. Hey, look here. I had a dish. They had a dish. Everybody did. It's understandable for me to clean my dish, but why I got to clean everybody else's? That's the reality, because I got to value myself. But no one want to teach that. No, keep you bottled down and follow orders, because you're just a nothing but a flesh body. That's all you are. You're just nothing but a robot. You ain't a human. You ain't no one with feelings. You ain't no one shit. Just get in there and do what the fuck I told you to do. Be a soldier. And we are where we are today.
That was one part. You hit another part. They raised their kid to be intellectually sound.
That's my whole point. So again, when we talk about the character arcs of these people and how they process through life, is like, again, you already have young kids that are already well-ly built adults. So think about it. And you said they're 16. In a culture in the Spanish culture, mostly Mexico and you know all that other stuff, females are adults by what age? 16 years old? Oh, okay. Ain't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of understanding,
too.
huh?
I think in the Jewish culture too, I'm not mistaken.
Well,
I believe so too.
My whole point is, but look at that tells you the idea of what it really takes to actually make an adult. Some people say, oh, it's 18. Some people say at least barely 25, whatever. But again, that tells me no one has a true understanding of what it takes to actually build an adult.
Yeah, good point.
So again, this is the thing. So this is why I actually like that right there. Again, take away the idea of just what the bare minimum of Gundam is, but when you really look at the humanistic part about it, this is the gut wrenching part that no one wants to face.
And I was looking at it for the long. I was like, okay, every Gundam franchise, every series, the level of responsibility that be piled on these teenage boys, it's quadruple. It's like 10, 100 times more when you get to a regular 16-year-old in the United States.
Me?
They are doing things much bigger. Like, you do this to American kids, they will collapse on point. Oh yeah, good one. Mobile Suit Gundam Speed, they show that side of it. Remember how they had the Federation? They had these kids who would pump with steroid everything. They didn't have to. They had to compete with the new type who are naturally born in some kind of different environment, and they start to break down, but they can't keep up with them. Not to get paranoid, start to panic, like they're not worthy no more. They did that in that particular franchise. I was like, not disrespect, but they shade you in your face, and y'all enjoying it. They show two sides of the coin. One that was properly trained. They don't know what properly caught or properly caught. I say properly caught. They were caught. They were lied. They were. What did America do to the health system?
I mean, I'll even go a step further because so let's do a comparison, right? Compare this and then compare Neo Genesis Evangelist, right? Now you look at that, dude, that pilot, that angel, and then you look at this pilot that has a pilot Gundam Wing. There's apple and oranges. It shows you right there. It's like understanding responsibility as being a lead, not only just a leader, but a pilot is already in play. So you look at it, be a kid, whine, and try to run away. You don't fix your problems. Face it head on and move forward, knowing that, yes, you may take some, yes, it may be some hard moments. Yes, it may be this. Eventually, you'll get over it. And when I say eventually, I mean, yes, you'll remember it, but at the end of the damn day, you understand that it was for the better, greater good if you just move past it. So,
and I'm glad you mentioned it because I was thinking Emma would catch on and watch the movie Gundam Wing, but no one. A lot of people was like watching the idea, and I'm looking at it. I was like, no, there was the level of responsibility, the level of accountability was on the extreme level. What on the mediocre level? What on the mid level? What on the extreme? And I was saying to myself when I got photo, any 16-year-old will take up that type of level of responsibility. That the weight will crush doing that. What I'm saying, when you watch these anime, it's fun, it's cool to watch, but there was so much information, there's so much lesson behind. Let me continue. Won't go let you do the mobile dog, which is the pilot mobile to using AI, aka okay, you want to hire a worker when you add to do our job. Yeah, they will happen when you have a pilot mobile who can do the job properly. This dehumanized war and create a massive robotic arm. The Gundam pilot fight against these mechanized outcomes. And here's the funny about it. The pilotless mobile suit still couldn't keep up with a human. They weren't on steroids. There were a mass number of these AI mobile suits going out there. And yet, it was like, you're wasting mad money. How much money for one mobile suit Gunpla? And you sent 100 of them. So you bankrupt a country just for war.
100 only? You mean like thousands and millions?
No, Peter. Let's do numbers. You know how you is. One mobile suit Gundam costs a lot of money.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. I apologize. I thought you were talking about gunplay.
And you have a. No, I'm talking about. Let's say if you were to do that, man. Let's say you didn't buy tanks no more. You have mobile suits. You know how America say cost what $8 billion for a plane. So imagine how many mobile suits they put out there and use AI to power them. How much money are you taking out of the bank?
Especially with the quote unquote Gundamanium alloy. So
you gotta forget. You gotta remember. You also have to add inflation on top of that.
Oh, you gotta be in the INF word, inflation. So you gotta bring
the tariffs in there. Transforming the metal to them.
Okay, now I'm gonna bring the key word. He put the INF word, inflation. Then he bought the tariff. But what would be the cost if you were to sell this one Gunpla to any country? You think you have workers? Where am I going to live in? Underground?
There? Yeah, at the union thing too. The union rights.
Eating
The
rat
what?
burgers.
And
Well, no, I'll be honest because even though I was, even though I was watching it, I was looking at it. I know it's fictional, it's not non-fiction. The cost just to build one is astounding. I wonder who's losing their jobs, who's losing their home, who's working at plantation was just building these things out. If robot alone cannot put it together, who's doing the mining for the ore for all this thing? And you're not even hiring pilots anymore, you're doing AI pilots. The other word, you have mass layoff.
There it goes. But let's knock it
Union
down.
strikes.
Crazy, right? That's what I'm saying. When I watched this anime, there was so much going on. I was like, pilotless, really? Part 5, White Fang and Total War. A radical group called White Fang originated a colony resistant movement. Seize control and declare war on Earth. They're about Murado Peacraft, aka Zek Marquise, White Fang turned Libra, and Space Fortress against Earth. Final battle of fought in Space. Zek believed only Total War can create true peace. How many Total War do we have right now in present time that haven't stopped yet?
Too many?
This anime, this anime came out in 1995, 1996. And talk about in this storyline, they believe Total War will create peace. So how many wars do we have so far? And why you haven't got peace yet?
Simple, because peace does not goes into control.
Ukraine
It
versus
doesn't make
Russia.
money. That's why.
Syria. Now you have India versus Pakistan going
Bro.
on right now. I'm like,
War makes money.
well, who get the money?
Oh, the
who,
big
who walk
franchises,
out?
the government, of course. You know, they're printing bullets. Bullet equals dollar signs. Vest equals money. You have somebody build the guns, to build the weapons, to build the bullets, the vest, to train somebody. It's all buying cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
So imagine this anime was ahead of its time. The storyline, the problem, it what I'm saying. Mobile Suit Gundam was too much ahead of time. Way too much. And it's not even funny because there's so many episodes you will go through and you look at it, you're like, damn, why didn't I think of it? Heero Yuy, Wing Gundam, upgrade from Wing Gundam to Wing Zero, right? I'm glad Wally did this. Do a Maxwell, that's the guy who the jokester went from deck sight to really deck sight hell. And that's the name for your new Gundam. You can tell he dark as hell. Toa Barton, the quiet one, heavy arm to heavy arm cut. Quatra, our winner, Senrock to Senrock custom. And remember I tell you he has 3 Gundams. Went from Chang Wolfie had Shalom to Artron and Natatu. Like, dude, you got specials? Really? Well, that's
If I'm not mistaken, pretty correct me. Catra and Troll was the only two who didn't get a new Gundams, right?
No, they got a Gundam, but more like custom. Quattro was Sandrock, but more
They
like
added a
custom
few
style.
things to
Heavy
it, but there
arm.
wasn't. The other guys
I know.
got a new Gundams.
All no, the other guy had new, but this one had 3. Shang Wufei, he had 3. One was Artron, the other one was Nataku. Nataku were by both arms.
Are we talking about
I'm like,
adding Gundam
The Chinese
worlds
one.
to that?
Yeah, that's endless one.
yeah, this war.
Okay,
Because
that makes sense. Okay,
so, because Wing Gundam upgraded to Wing Zero with the feather, it was like angel like. That was crazy. I'm glad he did that way. He was needed. to the next slide because protagonist Heero Yuy train assassin. Not cool but evolves. Selena Peacraft. That was the girl who I feel sorry for her. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, don't be like Relina Peacraft. Don't love a dude that's not gonna love you back. Then again, y'all doing in present time. Hello, aka modern woman. Pacific princess strive for peace throughout the diplomacy. Through Maxwell, the god of death, aka Green. Add levity to dark theme. Silver Barton, a mute circuit performer, very observant. I remember he was a circuit performer, but that guy has skills. He was very agile. Fragile winner, wealthy, moral, introspective, and
All
leader.
right.
Okay, they're Mongols. Wu Feng Chan, obsessed with justice and strength. This is the only guy I would never want to fight with. This guy is one track mind. One track. I don't know how he does it. But he's one track. At least he's not like Hero. Hero is more. Like I said, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but people like Hero, I don't know how you have kids. Antagonist and complex figure. Dick McQueeze, Dorado P. Crab. This guy like to go back and forth with the alter ego. Max 8 pilot, butter to Alina, mortally. I want to see morally torn. He contradicts himself too much.
Which is why
Man,
it's called morally
what's going on?
torn.
Therese Kushmanina is the elegant war strategy, believe in noble combat. Okay, you're a warmer. Lady Yone, trade subordinate transform from ruthless to idealist. Personality issue, that's what I call it. From my fellow foundation, autocrat power behind
Yeah, rest of it.
Oz. That's like the people behind Donald Trump, all they care about themselves and their money. White Fang militia group fighting for colony freedom through force. That's what's going on in today's society, whereby people are putting back against the imperialists, or what they call them colonizers. The translate in present time. You know what I'm saying? This anime is too ahead of its time. And people have to watch it, pay attention to the detail, and they start to realize, like, oh shoot, how did they know this was going to happen? You want to get scared with watching the anime? Let's see, War and Peace, the cycle of violence and illusion of peace through power never happened. Autonomy and better control, colonies striving for independence, mobile dog within the human. This part right here, colonies, I'm no different from what's going on in Africa right now. The cultural idealism, idealistic characters like Ramita and try to confront harsh reality. Identity and duty, especially in Hero, this and Wolfang tour between road and good. I'm sorry. Wolfang, I think it's more like parent issue, right? But Hero and Zek, they are major contradictions. They were two sides of the coin. Remember you said earlier how the Mobile Suit Gundam 00 was the blueprint for the talkies I work for Epsilon, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is, they're almost like identical pilots with different advantage among themselves. And that's right here on this presentation. I'm glad Wally did that right. Wally did a good presentation on this. Right here, the white and gold Gundam, that's the Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, or if you upgrade to the Wing Zero, this is after the upgrade of Mark Talkie. But later on, at and guess what? It got upgraded again to Talkies too. Crazy, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Let me see the next one. Oh yeah, and this one that was an over movie set after the series. Lunar lead Earth at a path of it. We're going all right. Gundam pilot on pullback over time. Gundam are redesigned with stylish upgrade and do it get angel wings. That was the hardest thing. Now you can see my background. Yeah, I'm representing. Explore deeper psychological trauma and wrap up their ace, the arc. And with Gundam being set into the sun, symbolizing the end of war. No offense. I wasn't happy about that. Well, I'll be honest right now. I'm being dead honest. That was the issue I had with the Endless War. They were perfectly made machine mech. It's sent to the sun to get destroyed. I was more like, send it to me, I keep it on the ground. Why you shake your head, buddy? What's wrong?
No, I hear what you're saying. No, I hear what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. But
I hear you say, but you shake your head like, ain't nobody will give you one to keep.
that would be a lot. But
that was the only part of the movie.
But yeah, but that ending was still trash.
No, the ending was trash to me because why all of a sudden they were sent to the sun? Like,
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. It's trash because like, why throw it away into a sun? I mean, just to say there's end war. I'm like, there's still weapons on Earth. There's still guns. There's still ammo. Are we throwing that into the sun too?
This is why Mobile Suit Gundam 00 corrected that ending. Mobile Suit Gundam 00 didn't throw their mech to the trash. They kept it for interventions. These guys said enough is enough. But again, I cannot blame them because the guy that designed their mobile suit were 5 different scientists that told them when you complete the mission, destroy it. I don't want anybody to take my work and do it for something else. They were considered the best of their kind at that time. Isn't that so?
Yeah, that's true.
But I would feel like no. First of all, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of work. I was loving the wing deal with the angel feather and everything. Like, why all this want to go to the sun? Like, hide it underground. Put the next generation to create something like this was going to happen. At least they have something like that. Come on. Why do that? Later on, they don't do that again no more. No one destroying the Gundam anymore. Everybody keeping that Gundam under a lock and chain just in case of a future weapon. Because first and foremost, you know how much it costs to build one? You're throwing money down the drain. Legacy and Impact. First Gundam series to air widely in the US, or it went heavy, 2000. Popularized Gundam in the West. Emphasized on aesthetic long coats for shonen heroes, stylish Gundam. One of the more politically, ladies and gentlemen, I'll say it correctly. It's one of the most politically charged and beyond Gundam entry. You see how I'm going different angle with the conversation about Mobile Suit Gundam. You have to watch. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're not a fan, if you've never been able to watch Mobile Suit Gundam suits or any other franchise, I want you to take the time out to get the channel. I'm sure they have a collectible section for Mobile Suit Gundam Wing and the OVA with the Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm like, what? Watch the first 49 episodes. Pay attention to the storyline. You'll be surprised how many political topics that popped up in this particular franchise that were so much ahead of its time. And then some. It tackled and dealt with so many issues that is going on in present time. Which is cool. I like the writer did a masterful work on it. With too many twists and turns. You can argue with it, but it was a big deal. What's your view about it, Wally? Please. You either like the lawyer guy, I'm the nerdy guy. You can break down the legal tips behind it about this how did anime hit home.
I mean, it's pretty much like you said. I mean, it's pretty much what we all talked about. It just replicates all that put together. Um, the only thing is politically, I think that. I mean, the one thing I'm only going to give this a little bit more of a slight pushback towards is I wish the political story was a little bit more ideal because when you because again when you think to yourself on the political side of this whole argument, right, as far as well trying to find peace, I mean, again, having total war to find peace, that's not a it's not ideal. That looks like control. That's not peace, that's control. Two, it just framework that you want everyone to alienate their own reserves as being a human being, which there's a lot of animes that do that. One in particular, Naruto. Um, so when you think about that, it's sort of like a little bit off. I mean, it's one thing if you told me, if there was someone's way of life and someone's way of life thinks that this is how it should be versus another ways of life and everything else, and you're just combating ways of life and how to move forward into the direction of the next generation. Fine, but it wasn't even leading to that point. It was just like, this is how we got to find peace, and you can like it or you can hate it. But just know this: it will end this way. And I was like, okay, a little bit offsetting if you just look at it from the broad spectrum of it all. But
And there were a lot of political contradiction along the way because some of the political conflicts it was not making no, but yet you let me feel
that's why I was partially in it.
I be like, how you get with it? How you able to get away with that now?
Well, this is part of the reason why I was talking about. So
I'm telling you, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, it did something. It was so political charged, it was so in depth. It was like, who able to take the time out to build such a franchise like this that will stand the test of time and still become one of the biggest king of animes? And down. But there was a great franchise. I'm telling you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, let me see. Did they have it on Netflix?
what Gundam? I think they have probably.
No, I'm
I don't know if
Wing.
they have links on Netflix, but I know they have.
It may be on Hulu.
It could be one of those, but I know they have like
I believe.
I think don't they have like the newest project of Gundam on Netflix? I think they would say.
Oh, they got a lot of new one popping.
Yeah.
You can check on Netflix, you can check on Hulu. You can check Crunchyroll
Well, it should be on Crunchyroll.
for the top three. Well, I'm telling you, watch it through, take note. You'd be surprised how many ideas, story contradiction that will hit. You'd be like, oh, it will make you stop think a little more. I remember we said in the first episode, anime, it touching stuff that is not made up. But they able to master to give you idea, do what we are talking about. This is the limit of the present time. What's the view about it, how we attack it, how we approach it. Go the same path or take a different path. How we resolve it. Those are a lot of things. You find people contradicting themselves. You like, you for real, right? You're doing this right now, right? But before you say you're gonna do it, but now you're doing it now. Not like that. You will have you in no type of moment, but like, damn, what's up with this? So, what's going on for the rest of the week, Holly? So we
Let me
got
get over there.
Thursday.
Hold on. Give me some moments.
This franchise, I need to calm down because there was so much to speak on this. So much. I'm glad I didn't go through all the episodes. 49 episodes, really.
So, okay, let me work myself down here. All right, so coming up tomorrow, we have Why Does Sex Sells? Unpackaging the Power of Sexual Appeal in Advertising.
Rolling Peter.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's just get one
Right.
thing clear. More likely, I won't be here tomorrow, as always. It's 'cause I got beat up somewhere else. Hey, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. That's your problem. That's your problem. That's your problem. Okay, don't be throwing a finger at me. That's your problem. But look, at the end of the day, look, one thing's for sure. I will always make a quick statement for why sex sells. Look, it's real simple why sex sells. It's real simple. Because those that are in control of it know men want it. Because men want what they desire and what they have. Whereas women can exploit it and know that they can take it over. It just the common sense. Just common sense. So let's be honest. What do every man desires? They desire a hot wife. They desire a woman with a hot, nice body, everything else. That's why it sells. Let's be honest. You think to yourself right now, if you thought to yourself to this day, just think about it. Every TV show, there's at least a decent hot woman you remember. Trust and believe me. There's always a decent TV show you watch to this day. Almost any TV show you can think of. There's been a hot woman that you think to yourself, you'd be like, I want her. Even if she wasn't the best one, just know this. The good or the bad, just know this. You had some type of desire to just be like, boner and get the frick out of here.
Well, that's something Vegeta would do. That's what Vegeta would do.
You know what? Look here. Silence you. All right. Silence you. You're gonna stop this whole thing, right? You're gonna stop this whole thing. You know what, man? You know what? You're right. It wouldn't be the thing that Vegeta would do. You know why? Because he can. I'm in there. I'm out of there. Screw this. Shoot. Hey, I say it like this. It's what his daddy did. That's why we don't know his mother. Yeah. Okay, let's get off that.
Hear it from him. You didn't hear it from me right now. Now don't say I'm the bad one.
Okay, next time up for Saturday's show, we will be having the most powerful mechs and mobile suits in fiction. I might not be there because personally, there wasn't enough time for me to.
Saturday gonna be an argument.
Well,
right
you
now
have fun with that one because that's a whole lot of mech suits and mobile suits I have not took the time to recalibrate.
How many mech anime you will go through to say which one is the best one? And no offense, if we shit on Voltron, don't get mad with us.
I only got one thing to say, ladies and gentlemen. For a lot of you that are willing to sit here. Okay, Eric, look here. You're a perfect example of what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? It goes back to what I said. Vanessa, Zach, and Cody. That's my whole point. That is thank you, Eric. Thank you. You proved my point. Sex sells, ladies. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. You proved my point. Sex sells. Just sue me for saying it. I'll even throw you another perfect example. Bernie Maxwell, his wife. Enough said. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, it's just true. I'll even go further. Let's take it away from TV shows. I don't know if anyone has Hooters out there, but if you ever see a Hooters commercial, guess what? You see them girls and what they wear? Again, sex sells.
You know Hooters about to go out of business right now.
Either which way, but for the time being, when they had it, it's sold. It's sold.
Yeah, that's a place for all guys to run away from.
And that's the whole point of saying sex sells. That's the whole point. That is the whole point, ladies and gentlemen. Sex sells. Men know how to use it, and women abuse it. Thank you very much.
And why would every cookie can go to every Hooter to bag a chick and take one out of there? Like, dude, they're there for them, not there for you to come and take them away. Like,
I mean, you can almost say the same thing about a club, but let's be real here. And guess what? Once again, sex sells there too. Men know how to use it. Women know how to use it. Thank you very much.
So, if you're coming on Saturday for that argument, please get your A game because we will be fact checked.
That's not a Saturday. Well, the sex sells. That's the Thursday. The Saturday's the Met.
That's Thursday. This Saturday conversation, we're not gonna let it go on like we did with the John Wick versus the Punisher type of debate. whereby it only one side already before
Well,
they
have
started.
fun doing your research because that's a whole lot of mech to look up.
I know. So I will be fact checking you because I'm out like
As far as for
Gundam.
Sunday show, again, Sparta did not upload Sunday show just yet, but that will be up there for sure. And for our next week's
Just let her know
show,
this.
you can wait for you can anticipate us doing Dragon Ball Z Daima. So, ladies and gentlemen,
It's about time. It's
the
about
fuckery
time.
is about to begin. And notice why I said
Yeah. I know. Nope. And
the only frickery that I'm going to be saying is anything that actually is there.
you know what, ladies and gentlemen, before we come in for next week Wednesday, please watch the second episode that we did. We talk about Dragon Ball Z franchise, so you can understand why he say the fuck we would have come in next week, because we were going haywire. And this one we will be dissecting because there's some other commentator was not making sense of their argument because they didn't look at the science of it. And there were too many factors.
Well, actually, that was our third episode.
Scientific terms. So believe me, your third episode. But I would say this: find it on the Sparta HQ Network. I also have it on my intro on my channel, CBN Tech Talk, because that was the heated conversation. It was very, very heated. Even Sparta came in there and be like, and this brother right here wanted. What's mad with both of us?
Man, look, y'all try to sugar daddy Vegeta like he's somebody's. Yeah, look. Question: What us the best? Okay, wait. Question: What is the best Dragon Ball normal fight? No powers, no flying, no abilities, no powers, just normal fights in the series you guys personally fave?
If you say that had to do something with Yamcha.
Wait a minute. Goku, young Goku with Tien, they use powers?
You know what? That gotta be back.
Yeah,
to
that has to be
Ball
the back of
before
Dragon Ball
Yamcha.
because there was not, because Dragon Ball, like if you're talking about whole Dragon Ball. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Talking about whole Dragon Ball.
Yo.
No powers,
Oxy's out to put
no
on
ability,
a
just a normal fight.
Oxy put on a spot now. He put it on a spot like goddamn, like ugh. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, at the lather, you can't really use none of the latest ones because they use nothing but powers ultimately. Let's see, drag it back there. Nope. Yeah, so this had to be Dragon Ball time frame.
It had to be because Dragon Ball Z is always power move, there's always flying move, there's always ability.
The best
It was on the
martial
heavy
arts
side.
combat. Boy. Honestly, okay, so I'm so like far gone remembering, but I'm gonna just say this. So pretty much I'll say Goku's adopted father, aka Gohan, versus Master Roshi.
It had to be, but shit. Because if you talk about Dragon Ball Z, you're not gonna find any. Think about Dragon Ball Kai, you ain't gonna find any.
Oh, actually, no.
Dragon
You know what?
Ball.
Oh, wait. Well, I'm still gonna pick that one, but there is other ones. I just now realized.
Not
Because
GT.
well, no, I was gonna say
It's not in Super.
GT was the only other person that didn't really have powers.
And if you want to add Dragon Ball Daima, that'd be at the restaurant in the Demon Realm. Who really wants no power, anything whatsoever. But did he fly? I thought he did fly.
Oh yeah, well you gotta check your personal face, so I don't know.
Almost like he didn't use any
I
power,
mean,
but he did fly.
You know what? No, well he said personal fave. I mean, I'll even go to this thing. We're talking about personal faves. Yeah, I'll say Goku versus Tien. But I just the only reason I didn't choose that at first because I don't remember if they use powers or not.
I'm going through all my encyclopedia of all the anime I've watched under the Dragon Ball franchise. I'm going to Dragon Ball Z, Kai, GT, Super, Dragon Ball Daima, and it's hard to say. They could one you could have said with no cause. Even Goku would try not to fly, but he end up flying in the restaurant, but more like flying low key, just dodging them. I hate getting put on the spot. You gotta check your memory. Like, which fight would that be? Like, no power, normal fight, no flying, new ability. Like, damn, I had to throw Yancho under the bus. And for the day, he the only guy who got thrown on the bus more than anybody else. Why? You gotta go take it from him from King Pookie Vegeta. When Vegeta first came to the thing, it would probably be Yamcha versus and Bulma would become a thing. So Vegeta was more like a big time Pookie. Looked at them, you weak, you're simple. Not this girl. Wipe her up. And ever since then, Yamcha have been heartbroken. He never recovered. Another who got it good and didn't have to suffer that predicament was Krillin. He got a hottie with a phone and an Android.
All right, so these are all the fights in Dragon Ball that happened that were without no powers. Hopefully, I remember. So pretty much it was Goku versus Jackie Chung, aka Master Roshi. Goku versus Tien. Krillin versus Chaozu. Yamcha versus Tien. And Goku versus Piccolo Jr. Nah, I thought Piccolo Jr. did use powers. Well, I know. I thought he did.
All I called it. All I was in
Dragon Ball. I'm about to give you some other ones, but again, I think even in this one they use powers. I think they use powers in this one. Wait a minute, it wasn't
to a degree, but mostly it was martial
right.
art.
So they
just that when they entered Dragon Ball Z, no more fight was out the window. Everybody got some kind of abilities. Krillin, the Chrome Dome, he blind you with a shiny ball head.
Well, shining fall blast, but yeah, pretty much.
Well, every time on the Chrome Dome, he got a ball head.
I guess so. But yeah, but those would be the main ones because almost everything else they had to use a power in the fight. Like Tien versus Semi-Perfect Cell, that was ultimately he used the tri-beam almost every freaking time. It's not, but just to coin this, it did said that it pointed it out. It said like it did have powers, but like as far as the latitude of the importance of the fight, it was like that's why it pointed it out.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I say you would never go find anything past Dragon Ball. Although using the ability, although using the power. So you can say,
because other than that, the only other fight after that you would have to sit here and say is Goku versus Vegeta, but that's in Super Saiyan. No, that's a Super Saiyan. That's in Dragon Ball Super movie, and we wasn't even there for the whole fight.
True. So on that note, we talked about our final note already, our final thought. We went through that already.
Here's my final thought real quick, because I know you guys mentioned earlier that, you said Gundam has the biggest franchise. Well, it's not the top dog biggest, but it is up there. It's up there somewhere. But it's not top dog.
Okay.
Let me give a point of reference. So the biggest one, as far as they say, because I know Eric said, not Eric, but I know Peter said, I think he said over Pokemon. Well, funny enough, Pokemon is one of the top lists. Dragon Ball, another one. One Piece, Naruto, Attack on Titans, My Hero Academia, and Jujutsu Kaisen. These are the biggest fan bases out here.
Where the Gundam fall at?
Oh no, it didn't even name it. I just naturally just asked like who has the biggest fan base in anime, and that's what it gave him.
Damn, Gundam, you went down a bit. Yeah, you could be the king. Then somebody came and hijacked your throne. Yeah, you be sleeping.
Okay, and another
Let's
list.
get
This
out
one
of-
emphasized Demon Slayer in a swap. Give or take.
Okay. Demon Slayer came hot, just like Total
Let me
Love.
see. Let me look at this. So if I'm looking at CBR, they said number 10 is Bleach, 9 is Naruto, 8 is One Piece, 7 is Neon Genesis Evangelist. Number 6. Okay, so number 6, that's Gundam, and this is based upon. Well, they're saying that overall. Number 5 is Juju Bizarre Adventures. 4 is Hunter x Hunter. 3 is Berserk. Better believe it. Dragon Ball Z is number 2, and Pokemon's number 1.
And one. It's funny how Pokemon is the king.
Well, of course,
over
it's for
Dragon
kids. What do you expect? And again, this is just depending on certain people's lists because everyone got a different number. Because so like for Sportakia that's doing Pokemon, not Pokemon, I'm sorry, anime content. They're saying 10 is Demon Slayer, 9 is Hero Academia, 8 is Death Note, 7 is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, 6 is Bleach, 5 is Attack on Titans, 4 is Pokemon, 3 is Dragon Ball, 2 is Naruto, and then 1 is One Piece. So as you guys can see, it's very, there's nothing concrete on how people are baselining what is top 10 or what is their like the top is fan base per se.
Favorite Gundam. I have 3. Wing Gundam Zero, Gundam Barbatos from Iron Maiden Gundam. That's my Iron Rose. And my third one is Mobile Suit Gundam 00 Quad from the Mobile Suit Gundam 00
Favorite
franchise.
Gundam. Wing. What else is there? The one that the Gundam that embodied the spirit. I forgot the name of it though. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like the human
spirit.
link, like the link, the Gundam with the linkage. That's the one I'm talking about. Okay, so let me put it to you. Let me get it further.
I'm trying to see which franchise we're referring
You know,
to,
like
so
how
I'll make sure I
the
mention
human and the
franchise.
Gundam were like linked together, spiritually.
Oh, like
Yeah, spiritually.
spirit wise?
That Gundam I'm talking about.
Mobile Suit Gundam which?
I predominantly don't remember which one it is, but I don't remember the name, but I know it's that one. And then third, I don't remember a third one I can honestly say I can favor per se. Because there's a lot to remember. Yeah, those pretty much my main two, but I gotta remember a third one. I don't remember because that's a lot of Gundam. I don't have too much memory.
I'm glad they got asked this question. This is
Imagine
something
a
I was
Pokemon
thinking. Imagine a Pokemon battle with animated
was animated
like Dragon Ball qualities. It wouldn't gonna get. It's never gonna get there. It's never gonna get there. I know. I know that debate will come out.
But the problem is that's half and half. Because again, you got to think about it. Pokemon use elements. Dragon Ball use Ki Blast, so there's a difference in battle scenery. So I wouldn't say like it's not there. It's already there because again, they gotten witty with it later down the line. It's just different. It's just different. And plus, you got to think about it too. Pokemon don't. Yeah. Well, if we're talking about original Dragon Ball, where there was actually some blood and guts, you know, Pokemon don't chuck up, blood and guts when they get whacked. I mean, they showed the little scratches and all that stuff, but that's barely it. So,
ooh,
okay, yeah.
I'm letting you guys know.
Right.
This is the show whereby no anime is not
fiction,
free from criticism.
Art style, but Dragon Ball fights quality.
This the show for no type of debate. We could have done the anime, we could have done the franchise. Either they did well or they don't
I
do well.
mean,
We watch our past episodes. Some anime we didn't get them no love because they dropped the ball. I was going in some cases. He was going in. We both went in. I went for the jugular, went for the throat, and then some.
well, I won't say I went for the throat. Let's just say I went for the embodiment. Okay, I went for the embodiment.
I gave no anime no mercy. If we did well, I called it out. If we did bad, I called it out. It's what it is. So on that note, by the call of the night, it was one of our great topics. We enjoyed this one. Please, 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 after the show, if you have any comment or concerning what we talked about, put it down in the comment section. If there's any other anime you want us to touch on or speak on or dissect, please, 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 leave it in the comment section, please. Because we want to make sure we deal with every single anime, both new and old. We were last night. We were trying to find some feature or footage. One of the icon. It's funny. It was an anime that inspired Battleship Yamato, but it was under the same company that produced it. We're trying to find more footage. We're gonna watch it again. I know I watched it. So it's a big deal. So next week be prepared for that Dragon Ball Dama conversation. We did a lot of things. We will break down on that so there'll be no confusion. And we might research and see if it'll be any more Dragon Ball Z franchise and they come out or not. But that's it with the talk of the town is right now, because since the guy passed away, there are two sectors, or I can't call them a sector, two clans, they fight over the right of it. Well, we'll find the information before the show starts next week Wednesday, so we let you know what's going on, and hope there'll be some clarity. They will be bringing some new product coming out on new anime. I hope so. I really do, but we cannot make no story up here, but we have to be honest about what we talk about, all right? I am CBN Tech Talk, aka Black David, but under the sponsor name, I am Bear Paul. My co-host Wally, his sponsor name is Talos Fireburn. And we had the editor-in-chief, Ghost of Sparta, Peter. It is the Sparta HQ Network collaborating with the CBN Tech Talk. We enjoyed this show. We hope that you loved it. Please come back. Seriously, come back for next Wednesday. I know we got a show tomorrow. We got a show on Saturday, but please come back for the next one. Please bring your A game. Bring your history back. Show your stuff. You'll highlight it on the chat, all right? No make believe over here. We talk about real facts about the anime, all right? On that note, deuces.
It was everybody.